Hello everyone. This is going to be the third and the final video of the series, which I will call as the Nighstar Trilogy, which is the series where I am showing 3 different possible weapon configurations and weapon loadouts for the Nightstar mech. The reason for these videos was because I found a very unusual and a very rare multiple mission contract consisting of the 3 battlefield missions. A very unusual contract. In the first video we've explored the Nightstar that is loaded with the dual autocannons AC-20 burst fire. I've talked a lot about all of these details in the first video, so if you are interested, please check out those previous videos, and I will leave the link to each of the previous videos in the description below the video. Then, in the second video, I've explored this exactly the same build, except it is loaded with the standard AC-20s, not the burst fire version, the standard ones. And finally, in this video, I will be showing you pretty much the stock weapon configurations, the types of weapons which this mech comes in stock, except I've upgraded each weapon to the tier level 5 weapon, and also I've allocated the armor. I've talked a lot about this build as well in my first video, so if you would like to learn more details, please check out that video as well. So this is gonna be a standard dual Gauss rifle variant of the Nightstar, and we will see how it works in comparison to the other 2 variants which I've shown you in the previous 2 videos. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at this contract once again. Let's review this final battlefield mission, and right away we can see that the potential payout is ridiculously high, and this is of course because in this system we have this rival mercenaries, and such a high payout suggests that we are gonna be dealing with them, so we need to be prepared to destroy them before the mission starts. This is always the case with battlefield missions. And then let's see what other details, and we can see that the battlefield area, the combat area is rather small. It's only 11.25 square kilometers. It's on a smaller side. Alright, so let's go ahead and select our mechs. So as I was mentioning earlier, this time around I'm going to be piloting the Nightstar variant loaded with the dual Gauss rifles. Then my lancemates, as usual, as in the previous 2 videos, they are going to be piloting exactly the same configurations of the Atlas. So this is the configurations, those are the weapons. This is pretty much a subject for another video. I'm not gonna go into details about this build, but this is one of my favorite mechs of all times. Okay, well, let's go ahead and see what we can get out of it.
We're right on the front lines, Commander. The good news is that we can rack up a big salvage payout if we're able to maintain our position. But remember, you have to be alive to spend it.
Actually, let's not rush to the waypoint. Let's wait until our rivals arrive, because we will have to destroy them first. Usually it doesn't take very long for them to... Yeah, they're here. They're here already. Let's deal with them first. Then we'll check in at the waypoint.
Our meeting under these circumstances is regrettable. A true MechWarrior doesn't resort to ambushes. However, our employers have other ideas and other ideals.
That's a great speech.
Contact, Battle Mech.
Target Battle Master.
Almost like you planned that shot.
It was a
Nice.
headshot.
Acquired.
All right, Commander. I'm in place for an emergency
Have too much
evac.
interference here
Complete the
because
mission
of
if you
this.
can. If not,
Probably because
we're
of
ready
this
to burn when you
stalker.
are.
FB, he's got that ECM pod.
Yeah, nice shot. Focus.
Target destroyed. Target acquired. Target destroyed.
A stunning defeat for us. A supreme victory for you. Well done.
Yeah,
Good
these
job,
guys
Commander.
are giving good
Those
speeches.
mercs will think
Okay,
twice before trying that again.
let's evaluate the
Looks
damage.
like you don't need evac
So I
anymore.
already can see
you when
that
the
he's
mission's
got,
complete.
yeah, pretty weak armor on his arm. As a matter of fact, he's gonna lose his arm because the armor is gone. Which is okay, it is just a single medium laser. We'll repair it. Then this guy is fresh. And this guy is fresh. And I'm pretty much fresh as well. So it's only this guy which took most of the beating at this point. Let me just check this one more time. Yeah, we've got to be careful with him, and it's most definitely that he's gonna lose his arm. But that's okay, that's okay, we'll repair it. Let's just go ahead and start this mission. That was a way too close of a combat with these rivals.
Commander, you've got the Ops Boy's attention.
And of course, as usual with these missions, let's try staying closer to the drop-off location, because this is where we are going to be picked up as well. It's always the case with these missions. Your extraction point is gonna be right nearby your drop-off locations. So, okay, they started working on this one. It's good. It's Commander. Let's use the thermal
Target
vision.
destroyed.
Okay.
Target destroyed. Target acquired. Target destroyed.
Enemy mech down.
Target acquired.
Additional bogies setting an intercept course on your position.
Destroyed. New target Blackjack. Target destroyed. New target Vindicator.
Well placed kill shots.
Target acquired.
Hostiles are escalating their assault on your position, Commander. Be careful.
How'd you? Wow, awesome shot.
New target Phoenix Hawk.
Okay.
Target acquired.
Some kind from this area. So aim better.
Incoming missile.
We got you, boss.
Okay, let's work
New
on this
target
rifleman.
Rifleman.
Let's help him up.
Holy cow, nice headshot.
Target acquired.
Mech scrap.
Scopes are lighting up with additional bogies, Commander.
Okay, who do we get this time around? Better be careful with this guy.
New target trebuchet.
Focusing on issue target.
Atlas.
Target acquired. Target destroyed.
Better to stay mobile.
Incoming missile.
Left arm lost.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Reactor failure detected. Look out.
Okay, so this guy is in a very bad shape, and as expected, he's lost his arm. So now I am gonna send him
Enemy reinforcements are spotted in the area.
to
They look
some
like they're heading
kind
your
of
way.
a distant corner. Let me send him somewhere over to that distant location.
Moving to requested grid, Commander.
Yeah, he's out of the fight. I don't wanna lose any more components.
Target acquired. Target destroyed. Target destroyed. Target acquired. New target Victor.
Targeted. On the move.
Oops, that was a miss.
Amazing, Commander. Nice kill. It's even going critical. Holding a designated position.
We've reached our quarter, Commander. From here on out, we're racking up bonus pay.
Almost
Stick
stepped
around as
into
long
the
as you like.
circle.
We're on
No,
standby
let's
to pick you up
stay
when you're
here
ready for
longer.
evac.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm just worried about this guy. Hopefully he's far enough. Oops, I should aim better.
Target destroyed. Incoming missile. New target Centurion.
Excellent lucky shot.
Target acquired.
Targets identified.
Incoming missile.
Trying to get rid of this Zeus while my lancemates are working on this Highlander.
New target Highlander.
Good kill, Commander. That mech is going critical.
Tango eliminated.
Alright, right, we can still fight. We can definitely still fight in here. These guys over
Moving
here.
to requested.
So nice to have a little bit of a pause in
Recon has
between
spotted
the
additional bogies heading along a trajectory that intersects with
enemies.
your position.
Holding a designated position. Guns up. Battle mech spotted.
Just a couple of medium mechs.
Tango's in sensor range.
Target destroyed. Target
Got
acquired.
another one.
Target destroyed.
He's almost done.
That kill.
What I
was
like about
mine.
this build is that I don't need to worry about running out of ammo. I have plenty of it, the Gauss rifle ammo. More than that AC-20 build. But it's a different kind of mech for a different kind of purpose. I mean the build, the mech is the same, the build. We'll talk about this later. I certainly don't wanna overextend myself here because my armor doesn't look too great. It's sort of like a moderate damage, but I need to be careful. Well, these guys are actually, you know, in a fairly good shape still, you know, given the fact that we've completed our quota and now just staying around for the bonuses.
Looks like you've got their attention. I'm showing multiple hostiles incoming on your position.
Okay, there is someone. Who was that?
Target acquired.
Okay. I've got PPC as well, you know.
Add one to my score.
Target acquired.
No, it's not gonna work with
Additional
all those.
contacts just cross the perimeter, Commander. Expect
Yes.
company soon.
Target destroyed.
Okay, who else are we getting? Yeah, that guy is walking around there. He's out of the fight. Took all the
Target
hits
acquired.
for us.
Target acquired.
Pow! One down.
Nope.
Target destroyed. Target acquired. Target destroyed.
So nice to have a little break. It's been quite intense up to this point.
Bad news, Commander. More hostiles inbound on your
Those
position.
eagers just
Get
appeared
ready for
out
some
of
company.
nowhere.
Target acquired. Target destroyed.
Who do we get this time? Stalker.
Copy. Target ID.
Yeah, focus on my
Target
stalker while
acquired.
I will help them too. That Victor is a pretty much of a short range mech. We'll deal with him later.
Recon reports additional forces entering the engagement area, Commander. Be on the lookout for them.
Where is he jumping? What is he trying to accomplish?
Target destroyed.
Okay,
Target
we
acquired.
should start thinking about getting out here.
Incoming missile.
Oh, wow. Oh man, that's a lot of things to deal with.
Your target.
Target acquired. Ammo low.
Enemy mech down.
Target acquired. Target destroyed.
No, too far for medium pulse lasers.
Target destroyed.
Okay. Okay. So what do we have now? What kind of damages? What should we do? Should we stay or should we go?
Hostiles inbound. Brace for contact, Commander.
New target Javelin.
And another dropship, so it intensifies.
Target destroyed.
Where is this dropship? No, it's not worth it. Let's get out here. We did well. We did well.
Let's get you out of there, Commander.
And actually, I'm almost running out of ammo, so it's only technically like 11 alpha strikes of the Gauss rifles for me. So that's okay. That's okay. Okay. Yeah, you see so many headshots. These were all the headshots which I've given. Lots of headshots. What do I take? Let's see. Let's take this one. Let's see. Let's take one PPC, and that's it. Yeah, I'm exceeding all of these points. But I have an option to purchase salvage. I have a mod for that, so I can buy it whenever I exceed points, usually with a high markup. Okay. 29 mech kills for me. 29 mech kills for me. Wow. Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot. How many in total? Let's see. So 32, 33, 36 mech kills in total. For a lance, that's pretty average number, but hey. Those were my headshots. Those were my headshots. Most of them, I mean, this guy actually did, with his lost arm, he still managed to get 3 kills as opposed to this guy who destroyed only 1 mech, which is actually a pretty poor performance for this guy. Yeah, that is some serious number right there. Pretty serious number right there, especially for the Nightstar. Yeah. There is, as far as the, you see, as far as the Nightstar chassis is concerned, I do have one reservation though. I do have one reservation. There is a catch. There is a catch though. We'll talk about this later. But hey, I mean, 29 mech kills for a single mech, that really tells you something. You know, when they tell you that story about Amari's Civil War and that Rifleman 3 with 4 Gauss rifles who managed to kill 16 mechs before he got destroyed. You know, that's a lot more than 16 mechs, and I only had 2 Gauss rifles and 1 ER PPC basically. Those were my main weapons in here. You don't need 4 Gauss rifles for that. But once again, still, even despite this number, I can't quite get overly excited about the Nightstar chassis for one very important reason, which I am going to talk about later, so stay tuned for that. Okay, so let's go and see and evaluate the damages. Yeah, 1 arm, well, it was a 1 medium laser and 1 heatsink. This is what we've lost. Yeah, could have been worse. That's okay, we'll repair it. These guys are just an armor damage, so is me, just an armor damage. Alright, well, finally we've completed sort of like the test and like our trying of the 3 different variants of the Nightstar, 3 different weapon configurations. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments to this video. I am very interested to know what do you guys think about each of this build. And now I will tell you what I think. So let's finally have some discussion. Let's discuss each of this build, and I am going to share you my thoughts and opinions as well as my experience of piloting all of these builds. Alright, actually, before drawing some final conclusions, I've decided to go back and rewatch 2 of the previous videos of this series which I've made, just to refresh my memory, because I'm filming this video on a different day. And here is what I should make clear before we discuss this mechs any further. First of all, this channel is a fairly new channel, which I've started basically like several weeks ago. But I've been playing this game for a long time. And every single mech configuration which I've shown so far on this channel, it wasn't my first time trying it. Let me make this clear. It is not my first experience with these builds. I've done this several times in the past. I've tried every single of these builds even long before I started this channel. This is something that I wanna emphasize in here. The second thing which I wanna mention before I discuss any of these builds is that you can never judge any mech or any mech configuration by how it performs in a single mission. In order to be able to fully evaluate the mech's performance, you have to take it to several different missions. And that is exactly why I've done a couple of videos about the same mech configuration on this channel, just to show you how versatile certain builds can be. Finally, speaking of my previous videos of this series, the 2 previous videos of this series, guys, I have to apologize because not everything went there as planned. First of all, I had some technical issues there with that frame rates dropouts. The issue which I actually managed to fix for this video. And then some other things. It was kinda late at night. I was tired after a long day of work. It wasn't my top performance because I was making some mistakes. However, it wasn't my worst performance either. It was okay. Yes, I did make a few mistakes, but it's life. It's just life, so it is what it is. Anyways, having all this out of the way, let's go ahead and finally discuss these specific builds. Let's start with the positive things. Well, to begin with, let's take a look at these two configurations loaded with the AC-20s. One with the burst fire, and then the one with the standard AC-20s. Otherwise, they are absolutely identical. In my first video, I've managed to destroy 14 mechs with the burst fire version, and then with the standard version in my second video, I've managed to destroy 22 mechs, which is comparable to the other video which I've made about this Annihilator, which is one of my favorite builds of all time, one of my favorite mechs ever. It is quite comparable. And then finally, as you've just seen in this video, with this Gauss rifle, dual Gauss rifle version, I've managed to destroy 29 mech kills. And I have to say that this isn't something that I've done before. I was never able to get so many mech kills with this build. This is for the first time, and I am so happy that I've managed to film this on video, to record this. That was quite a result, So, speaking of these builds, as you may have noticed, these two, the autocannon versions, they are mainly geared towards a close range combat, a close to medium range combat. Okay, it doesn't have any long range weapons. These autocannons and medium pulse lasers are mainly the medium and close range weapons. So as this one. That said though, you can still actually snipe with the AC-20s at distant targets ballistically. You can still do that. And you can do that quite successfully. And that is exactly one of the reasons why I never assign the Nightstar to my AI lance mates. There are two reasons for that. This is one of them. Because they will never think outside the box. They will just follow their algorithm, and they will use these autocannons or Gauss rifles only when they are able to get a lock on a target, or in case with the autocannons, they will only be using them at a close range. They will not try to snipe anything with them. So they won't be able to take a full advantage of this build. That is why I've tried actually in the past assigning these builds. I have enough of them to fill my lance, but I've tried it before. I've tried to make a full lance of these Nightstars. It didn't work that well. The AI lancemates, they just won't take a full advantage of these builds. So I've stopped doing it. That was one of the reasons why I've stopped doing it. So as the Gauss rifle version, you see, even though the Gauss rifle has a pretty great range, it's got an excellent range, the lancemates still won't shoot it past the specified range in this game, and they won't shoot it past beyond a sensor detection range. This is what I'm trying to say. They won't snipe targets that far. So that is another reason why I would never ever assign the Nightstar to my lancemates, because they won't be very efficient with these mechs. That's the reason. Now, regardless of the configuration and build, the Nightstar is absolutely devastating, lethal and deadly mech. One of the most lethal mechs in this entire game. There is no question about that. And the videos which I've made, they clearly demonstrate it. You know, couple of salvos of those autocannons and medium to heavy mech is gone. With this autocannons, and then of course it may take a little bit longer to deal with enemies with those Gauss rifles. So, it's absolutely deadly mech. These versions, the autocannon versions, once again, they are geared more towards the close range combat. Close to medium range combat, with the exception of being able to snipe the targets with those AC-20s if you try really hard and if you aim very well. So, not going to reiterate much on this subject. Now, which build is more preferable or more superior? Is this AC-20 standard build, or is it the AC-20 burst fire version? Honestly, I don't think there is all that much of a difference. It depends. It really depends. I don't have the direct answer to this question. They both perform equally well, even though it may not be evident from the videos which I've made, because like I said in the first video, I destroyed 14 enemy mechs with the burst fire version and then 22 mechs with the AC-20 standard version. It just happened to be this way in these videos, but in the past I've managed to destroy it. I will tell you this. In the past, I've managed to destroy once, believe it or not, 23 mechs with the AC-20 burst fire too. So, I would say they perform equally well. It's just a different kind of performance. With the burst fire, you're able to guide the target as those weapons are shooting. You're able to guide a moving target. Whereas with this AC-20 version, AC-20 standard, you just need to aim very well. You shoot it once, but it's kind of fire and forget. You don't need to guide the target. You just need to aim well before you shoot it. So it's about the same. It's about the same. However, if you ask my personal opinion about this, what do I personally prefer? Well, with the tactics that I use, I kinda tend to gravitate more towards the AC-20 standard version, actually. I kinda enjoy sniping things at a distance with it. It's a lot more fun. Yeah, sure, it's a lot of fun as well, being able to shred the targets at a close range, just like, you know, in one of my first videos where I was shredding targets with the 4 king crabs and the AC-20 burst fire. Yeah, this definitely can be a lot of fun at a close range. But at a long range, I kinda prefer, you know, sniping things with the dual AC-20s. In a single shot. And by the way, as far as the weapon groups are concerned, I shoot those AC-20s all at once for both, because with this mech I have plenty of ammo and I don't need to be worried about, you know, running out of it. It's more than enough to be able to complete any kind of mission. I don't need to worry about this as much. So is the Gauss rifle version. Okay, let's now finally talk about this Gauss rifle version, which is, as I've said this many times, it's pretty much a stock loadout with the exception of the modifications which I've made. I've upgraded all the original weapons to the 5-tier level weapons, and then I've made an armor allocation to match all of my other builds. I've talked a lot about this in the first video. I'm not gonna reiterate on this subject in this version. This video is already running too long, I know, but I have some important points to make, so please please bear with me for a moment. Okay, so speaking of this dual Gauss rifle build, this mech is a dedicated sniper. It's one of the best sniper mechs ever, one of the best sniper mech configurations ever. I view this build, this original build, as a dedicated sniper. It performs exceptionally well at this role. 2 Gauss rifles, a very, very long range. You know, it specifies here that max range is 825 meters. This is not true. This is not true, same as with those heavy rifles. You can shoot this far beyond sensor range, and as you've seen in this video, I've even managed to destroy some targets that are far beyond this specified range. It's wrong, it's not 825 meters, it's much, much longer than that. And then, of course, this ERPPC can also snipe things far beyond your sensor detection range, and you hopefully you saw this as well in this video. It's a dedicated sniper. What it doesn't do that well, it is not quite suitable for a close range combat, because these Gauss rifles, they have a very long reloading time. So looking at the specs once again, it's 11.765 RPM, but of course with all of my upgrades, which I've shown you in the first video, geared towards the increased firing rate, this faster weapon cycling plus quick ammo feed, it does increase the firing rate in my situation to 15.18 RPM. Nevertheless, it's still too slow for a close range combat. It is still very slow. And you could really see it in this video when at the beginning of the mission we were encountering those rival mercenaries at a very, very close range, and you could see that I was really struggling eliminating those targets. This this build isn't quite suitable for a close range combat. This is based on my experience doing this mission as well as many other missions before. It's a dedicated sniper. It's a kind of a niche mech specialized in sniping distant targets. Yeah, I mean, if you can try hard, you can still fight at a close range combat. If you're a good MechWarrior, sure, you can still do that, but I wouldn't, because there are just so many other options out there that will do this kind of task better. So as, by the way, this other Nightstar configuration. If you wanna shred the targets at a close range in a couple of salvos, well, these are the builds to go to. Or this Annihilator, which I've shown you before. But if you wanna snipe beyond sensor range at extreme distances, you cannot go wrong with this one. It's absolutely excellent sniper, one of the best snipers out there. And hey, even though I said that this is kind of like a niche specialized mech, it doesn't mean that it's bad. No, don't get me wrong about this. It's not bad. I tell you this. I would always prefer a specialized mech which may be doing one or two things like no other, which can excel at those things and which can fulfill that specific task brilliantly like no other mech out there. I will always prefer something like that over something that let's say, you know, like a jack of all trades and master of none. That is for sure. Yes, it's a dedicated sniper, but it's a really great sniper. That's it. Period. Absolutely amazing sniper, period. So those are all the beautiful things as far as these Nightstar builds are concerned. Absolutely lethal, absolutely devastating mechs. One of the most devastating mechs out there. Okay, now, as you may have noticed from the previous video, where I've done, you know, 22 kills with this mech, and then with this configuration, and then in this video those ridiculous 29 kills and a bunch of headshots as a sniper. In this video, I've told you that I'm still not excuse me, I'm still not overly excited about this chassis, and that I still do have one reservation for it, and that is its durability. Not a durability as a whole, but particularly this cabin, the head, the cockpit. Okay, let's take a look at this. You see what's going on? It's located right in the center torso. Okay, it's right in the center torso. And this is a huge problem, particularly with this build. It's not very well armored. Not even that it's under armored, because in my configuration I actually fixed this. I maxed out the armor. I went all the way up to the 32 points. But even then, it is the most vulnerable part of this mech. Why? Well, let's talk about this now. You see, most of the mechs, let's just use this Atlas as an example. When most of the mechs are being shot, the vast majority of the hits which they are receiving most of the time are going more towards a center torso. Yeah, of course you can headshot them. Yes, of course you can knock off some arms, you can knock off side torsos. Yeah, of course, but most of the times it's a center torso, and particularly when it's being shot with LRMs. The LRMs. All the LRMs in general tend to land on a center torso. In general, again, most of the time it's a center torso. Yes, it is, of course, it's other parts as well, but most of the LRM hits are going to the center torso. That's just, the way it is with LRMs. Okay, what's in the center torso of the Nightstar? It's this cockpit. That is where you will be receiving most of the LRM shots, and not just LRM shots as well. Lasers, autocannons, you name it. Everything will be hitting mostly your cockpit. And the first thing that often gets destroyed in this chassis, it's gonna be the cockpit. You may be wondering how come do I have so many Nightstars in my collection. I don't even remember exact number. Let me see what we've got. You see, I have a bunch of them in my cold storage. Yes, I did buy a few of them. I did encounter some of them in the marketplace, in the industrial hubs, but a lot of them I've salvaged. I have a mod which allows me. It's called a better mission selection mod, which allows me to increase the difficulty of the missions, basically making it 100 level difficulty in most of the conflict zones. And on top of it, it allows me to select a Camstar as a faction. It's another faction which you can either work for or you can fight against with, just like any other houses or pirates out there. So a bunch of those I've just salvaged. How did I salvage them? You're gonna laugh. I gave them, not all of them though, some of them I legged, but some of them, most of them I gave headshots. How did I give them the headshots? You're gonna laugh. I gave them headshots with LRMs. Believe it or not, those were the long-range missile shots. Guided long-range missile shots. I didn't even always get to see them. I didn't even always get a direct view of them. I was just shooting LRMs either behind some kind of fortification, behind the building, whatever. They were receiving headshots with LRMs. It's the only mech in this entire game which can get a headshot from LRM shots, which is absolutely ridiculous. So this is my reservation. This is that catch that I was talking about in previous missions. This is exactly the reason why I have a hard time, despite all of this, immense firepower. This is exactly the reason why I have a hard time labeling this mech as one of my favorite mechs of all times. This is exactly the second reason why I never assign this to my lance mates. Simply because even though, those AI lance mates can piss me off sometimes, I still value them enough to the point where I just don't wanna lose them to this vulnerable cockpit, because you can easily lose your lancemates or your pilots to this cockpit, which attracts all the enemy hits like a magnet. That is the biggest and the most serious design flaw of this mech. A very serious design flaw of the mech. Yes, like I said, it's absolutely deadly mech for the enemies, but it can be just as deadly mech for its pilot. This is the catch. This is the catch with this chassis. So that is the reason why I cannot necessarily take something like this to any kind of mission. But still, nevertheless, it's an excellent sniper. One of the best snipers in this game. So I will only take it to a very specific kind of mission, either like a distant targeted kill mission or maybe like a battlefield mission with a large combat area, where I will get an opportunity to snipe things with those two Gauss rifles, but I will try to avoid a close range enemy encounter at all cost, because this can be quite deadly for you as well if you're piloting this mech. So that is pretty much the only negative which I can say about this mech, but it's a pretty big negative, pretty serious flaw. That is the Achilles heel of this mech, yeah, which is a very vulnerable cockpit. This is something to keep in mind. Yes, you can use it. Yes, you can be pretty successful with this mech, but only if you are very careful, and if you use it wisely, and if you are trying to avoid the center torso, which is your cockpit, hits at all costs. This is, guys, why in my previous videos, and including this one, this is why I was getting so nervous when I was getting LRM shots. Particularly, you know, in the first video when I was being shot by that catapult. It is a very dangerous encounter to be shot with LRMs, because this is what they are gonna hit. They will hit this cockpit. Okay, so these are my thoughts. So this is why I have a hard time calling it one of my favorite mechs of all time, because, like, let's say this Annihilator, which I've shown you in a video before, this is one of my favorite mechs of all time. Why? Because it's absolutely devastating. It's very lethal with these autocannons, and it's quite versatile. Because here is the thing. You see, if you love Nightstar, if it's one of your favorite mechs of all times, it's fine. I am fine with this. Here I am just talking specifically about my personal favorites, not somebody else's personal favorites. And to be considered as one of my my all-time favorites, I basically just need to answer 3 simple questions. So first of all, I mean, does the mech have a good firepower? Well, in case with the Annihilator, it does, obviously. Is it versatile? Is it well protected? Is it suitable for any kind of mission? I would say yes, it is. For me, personally, I know a lot of people won't do this, but for me personally, I will take this Annihilator build virtually to any kind of mission. and I've shown you how the Annihilator chassis performs very well pretty much in any kind of mission. This is what I would do. Yes, I will absolutely take it to any kind of mission. And finally, the third and the last question. Will I ever assign this to my lancemates, my AI lancemates? Absolutely yes. I have done it. You've seen my previous video. In case if you haven't seen my videos on this build, my AI lancemates have done exceptionally well with this build. Exceptionally well. I would say even better than with some of these atlases, which is, by the way, one of my favorite mechs of all times. So this is why I love it so much. Now let's ask the same questions about the Nightstar. So speaking of the Nightstar, does it have a good firepower? Oh yeah, it's like I said, it's absolutely devastating package, period. No questions about this. Let's ask second question. Is this mech suitable for any kind of mission out there? Maybe. I can't really give you a direct answer for this. Maybe not every variant, obviously, because as I've mentioned, this is a dedicated sniper. Maybe yes, maybe not. Depending on a circumstance and scenario. I will leave it as maybe. I can't really answer this question right away. Let's ask a third question. Will I be able to give it to my lancemates? I already answered this question. No. Under no circumstances, never ever, I will give it to my lancemates. Absolutely not, for the two reasons. First of all, they will not be taking a full advantage of this chassis because they will never shoot past beyond sensor range. They will never think outside the box to get the most out of this mech. And the second reason, which is even a more important reason, because of this highly vulnerable cockpit, I don't want to lose my lancemates to this cockpit. No, I value them and I don't want to lose any of them because they will be getting a headshot with something as ridiculous as LRMs. So these are my final thoughts on these mechs. And once again, like I said, never judge any mech or any build. I mean decent build. I'm not talking about some horrible build, something that obviously is not gonna work. No. Never judge any decent or good build only by one video or one mission. You've got to try it out in different kinds of scenarios to be able to fully evaluate it. And in the future, for that matter, I think I will do some more videos about these Nightstars. Maybe not right away, but in the future I'm sure there will be more videos featuring this or each of these builds. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I know it's horribly long video, but I just thought that it's very important to share my thoughts on this matter here, because it's a very good mech. It's a great mech. It's got lots of great things, but with a very bad design flaw, which kinda ruins it a little bit. You still can use it, obviously you can use it by all means, but you just have to be very careful, and you have to be very strategic with how you use it. It's not something that that I would, you know, take and go and step into some kind of, you know, hell type of environment, like with this annihilator to smash everything, like one of those crazy raid missions. No, this isn't for that. And if I had to choose for those types of scenarios between the annihilator or this Nightstar with dual AC-20s, I will still pick the annihilator, because it's much more rugged, it's more well armored. By the way, it's armored just as much as this Atlas's. Let me bring a fresh one. So you see, the Atlas has 655.2 points of armor, so as this annihilator. Same armor, and it's a lot more forgiving mech than these Nightstars. They are very different, and of course, you know, to begin with, the Nightstar wasn't meant to carry two AC-20s. It was designed, it was built around the two Gauss rifles. This is pretty much, you know, my own build. It doesn't come this way in stock. Okay. Thank you so much again for watching these videos. Please let me know your comments. I mean, please let me know your thoughts down in the comments about all of these builds, and until the next video. Thank you so much again. Have a nice day.